Hello, everybody. This is Jerome Wright. I'm back here. I'm going to make a second video. I have a video out on this already, but and it really hasn't gotten anywhere. It only got like 4,000 views. I'm going to see if we're going to push this up a bit and all. I made a few more discoveries. The image that you're looking at is a genuine image released by NASA back in 1972 from the Apollo space moon mission. Okay, and the astronaut that you see there is geologist Harrison Smith, and he's taking rock samples from this rock here that's on the moon. Now, what's extraordinary about this? Let me just, before I go into showing you some of the fascinating things that I found out about this rock since that I released my last video. I want to tell you some things that's going to get your mind raveled here. First of all, look at that rock, how unordinary that rock looked. Okay, everybody said, oh yeah, it's a Martian rock, so it's supposed to look unordinary. But nah, it really looks unordinary. And the really part of it that makes it unordinary is that that rock is sitting there pretty much by itself. This massive rock on the moon by itself. And there's no other rock. There's no signs of no type of volcanic activity or anything that produced this rock. And okay, it came there then. Okay, well, you guys are going to say it's an impact. But where's the impact crater from it being an asteroid, a meteorite, or anything? You know what I mean? There's no impact crater. It's like if this rock just came there and was just gently placed there in the place that it's at. And that's where I'm going to take and show you some extraordinary things about this that's going to be mind-boggling. Because I've came to the conclusion that that rock was placed there, and I know that it sounds crazy on face, but I'm going to offer two scenarios on how that rock got there. Okay, I'm going to go on down. I made myself a little footnote here so I can stay, so I don't go off script. All right. So in my first discovery, however, I showed you guys that there's a rock carving of a Nubian type fella, and he's wearing a headdress. Right there. Where we at? My pen right there. There's his chin and mouth, and I'm gonna bring you in closer. And my arrow goes to him. You can see that Nubian face right there. See that? The nose, the mouth, the head. It even has a headpiece on it. All right. I've since found out what that headdress is. What is there on that headdress? And it's going to fascinate you. I'm going to get into that a little later on, but I'm going to keep it going. I got some pretty good highlights and drawings that I'm going to bring up, and I'm going to be bringing them on the screen here. Okay. All right. So the two extraordinary theories that I have about how this rock got there. Here's the one. The first is that it arrived on the moon. Either it's the two theories that I have. The first theory is the rock is a spaceship. And I know that it sounds crazy, and I know you said, oh my God, how in the world is this going to be a spaceship? But look at it. Look at it first. Take a long look at it, okay, and let your head wrap around that before I describe into how I arrived at this being a spaceship, which is a damn good theory, believe it or not. Once I get finished, you'll hear me out. You'll conclude with me. The second theory is that rock was lowered into place by a mothership vessel and placed there. All right, that's my second theory. Let me see. I'm trying to stay to my notes here so I don't get off script here. Third, why? Again, the two theories. The first theory is that rock is a time capsule. That rock has heads on it, head plaques on it. Actually, I see three that's on there, and I'm gonna bring them up to you. I'm gonna show them to you. The one I just showed you of the boy figure with the face. I have that right there with the arrow going to it. I have three others that are even more clear and more compelling than that. But I'll show you in a minute. That's gonna be something. Now, the other thing is the reason why I said that there's evidence there of either chains or some type of transporting shipment straps or on this. These chains, these links on this rock, it looks like a chain links. You can see a band, a stretch of them. they look like they're consistent with, and I Googled it and I said, well, what kind of links are these that I'm looking at? Because the links look like they're round and their hoop look like a figure 8, and then they go between. And the only thing, it looks like there's like a link going up in between and coming in and out, snaking in and out of an 8. That's what it looks like. So the only thing that I came up with, that I looked at it when I Googled it, is that there's an ancient link like that that began with ancient Egypt. And it's like a mariner. It's called a mariner type link that the design is. I have pictures and stuff there. I gotta actually find some of these that I have, but it's a mariner link. When I come across that, I'll get. Oh, here's one right here. In fact, there's one of the links right there. I highlighted it there, right there. Some, okay. And these are all over the boulder. You can see some underneath there. These are just some of the ones that I've seen. These are all over this rock, in the place and in the locations where you would think that it would be for either support to either be lowered, this rock to be lowered into place, or to be strapped down on the ship, cargo ship straps. That's what these looks like, either to lower this rock into place or to strap it down. And I'm going to show you the significance, the very important significance of this rock, and when I get around to it. Let me see. There's chain markings and other machine markings that appear to be consistent with cargo hold tie downs techniques or lifting or lowering techniques of a heavy object, and that's what's on that rock, right there. That's what's on there. And there's evidence of this. The other thing is the reason why that's sitting there, and I believe that, what supports this theory is that I believe, because there's text and writings on this rock as well. But the other reason why I believe that this is almost, I believe it's like a time capsule. And I believe that this rock is placed there either as a time capsule or a vault cover. This thing is an entranceway covering a vault to other things that are beneath this, underneath here, this rock. And I believe that there is an opening on the rock itself to where, believe it or not, you can get to you can go inside of the moon. This is what I'm believing. Now, what makes this sounds crazy is, more compelling is the fact of the matter is, remember that NASA dropped a bomb on the moon not so long ago, so many years back. And when they dropped their bomb, they said that the explosion made a bell-like sound, like a dong, like if there was, it was a hollow, like if the moon was hollow inside. Just imagine, if you will, that what I'm saying is correct, that this is a vault cover, because this is intelligence right here. I'm going to prove the intelligence part of it. So just imagine this being a vault or a time capsule by those that place that there, that has evidence of covering this up. So this cap do not blow off. It's protecting a vault that's underneath to protect these people that was digging up underneath the moon. All right. So now the moon surface, in other words. So what else do I have here? Let me keep going. Let me see. Okay, that's 1, 2. I want to get through all of this and I don't want to miss anything. Okay, now I want you to add. Okay, now the other thing. Oh yeah, was okay. Now, who placed the rock there? I want to touch base on all my notes that I've written down. Who put that rock there? I don't believe that that this was no distant space travelers or nothing like that there. I believe that rock was placed there by, and I dubbed them, I'm giving them the name. I'm saying that the rock was placed there by Venetians. Who are the Venetians? I believe that these beings came from Venus that put this rock here. All right? And before they were Venetians, I gave another name to the creatures that before them that they evolved from. I believe that Venetians would later, they were previously named Mercurites. Why Mercurites? Because these Mercurites are the first. These are the first 2 planets, Mercury, Venus, and then they later became Earthlings. So I'm saying that the creatures that placed these rocks there were our ancestors. And the place that rock there were our ancestors. And the first, they were first Mercurites, later evolving into becoming Venetians, and then later evolving into becoming Earthlings. I believe that Mercury was the past, as was Venus. Earth is the current, which is the present, and Mars, where we're evolving to now, is the future. I believe that this moon is a neutral ground, that where space travel and in preparation for space travel and mocking, this is the perfect staging ground for them to go to try to see how it would be to survive outside of their worlds. And I believe that the Mercurites, the Venetians, and now the Earthlings, this pattern is the same pattern. This technology was there before, and Earthlings were not the first ones to achieve space flight. I believe that our ancestors that we evolved from are the ones that achieved it, and I'm going to prove it right to you. And that's why you see that face there and those carvings. Now, there's other stuff here. Let me see. I covered that. Is there any other explanations that I have here that I want to put down? Oh, yeah. Let me touch base on this. How would this be a spaceship? I believe that this would be a spaceship, just like if you think about how Masons or brick facers or anyone that does work with stucco or sculpting would know. They would appreciate this theory. I believe that this moon dust that's all around makes for a great cement, a great paste. Some type of liquid substance our ancestors achieved. I don't care whether it was their bodily fluid, their urine, water. I don't care what it was, how they achieved it. They made this substance paste-like, and they sculpted this. They put this stuff on top of the actual vessel that is there, whether it be metallic, whatever type of metallic it is, or whatever this thing is up underneath. I believe that they paste covered their ship, camouflaged it with this moon dust, which preserved over time and stays there, which would make sense because it's protected from the sun. Any type of weather, moon weather, or whatever, it creates a cake, a bond over top of this vessel. Now, what makes it crazy is that, look here. Look at this claw-like here. And then look at this texturing coming around. And you come around, and there's a ball inside of a cradle. And these are just one or two things that I'm just pointing out that's extraordinary about this, besides all of the carvings that are up here that I'm going to show you in a few. All right. So, all right. Now, I got the description and stuff out. I'm going to put stuff in that I forget in the comments. I'm going to put pictures in the comments. Okay. Do I want to go to this? What do we want to go to? Let's go to this here first. I'm going to point out this right here, that claw. Believe it or not, as extraordinary as it is, that claw has markings on it that look to be consistent with the way Indians or Mayans or Egyptians, not Indian, or how they took elephant tusks, Africans, and they put markings on it. That thing has carvings and markings on it, that claw. I'm going to bring it in closer. There it is right there. Oh, hold on. There it is right there. That little claw right there. Look at that. That is not normal. That is not normal. The closest thing that I could come to describing that as being either like a claw or something from a wing or the dragon, which I've already said that this was a dragon, which I cannot prove until now how that could possibly be. As a matter of fact, I can't prove that that's a dragon. Let me take that back. But let me show you this person holding a claw, a made-up claw. And look how this meat, look at how the skin comes over the texturing on that, on how it goes in, dips around, and comes around. And look at all of the indentation. Look at the specific texturing on how the skin overlaps the meat and turns in on itself. And look at this. Now I'm going to show you the rock. Again, hold on. Where did I put that at? Oh, here it is here. Now, why is it, where we at, that the rock has the identical same thing, almost like skin, but it turned in on itself, the same texture in that little piece right there, and looking like a nail or a horn protruding from skin? Look at that. The same exact texture, the same exact way, the same exact everything right there. In the same direction and coming around. Look at it again. Like if the rock was growing over a nail or a toenail, or the same way skin would grow over. Look at that, how realistic that is to what I just showed you and described. All right, I'm going to leave you with that thought for a minute. Again, these pictures, I'm going to try to upload most of them with this. Oh, here's a closer, much larger picture. But there's no way that a moon rock, could be conformed to be exactly, this is a longer nail like a talon. That looks more like a horn or similar to the same thing. Now, what's going to get you is that I'm about ready to go into showing you. I'm gonna save something for last year, but I'm gonna show you. Keep them talons in mind because we're gonna be talking about birds in a minute. But there's a movie right now playing in the movies, I believe it is, and I hope there's no copyright infringement or nothing like that there, but it's the Storks. That's playing in the movies right now. So what that has to do with me talking about what's being described on the moon, which I'll tell you in a minute. The Storks has been around forever. Mythical about how birds deliver babies. Yeah. What I noticed in my discoveries and my encounters is that nothing that you see today or that we're attracted to or we put in mythology can be taken for granted. It comes from someplace. These stories come from someplace. They come from someplace afar, in a very ancient place, and they find their way into the world of the reality, which is because they are reality in themselves. Now, in this picture of this moon, I've discovered that there are pterodactyls, there's birds, similar to what we're seeing there with that baby in the stork. Right there. Almost the same verbatim of what you see right there, I have right here. This boy, right there, that face of that boy, is embodied in the body, the wing, the wingspan, there's the neck, and the head comes up here of a pterodactyl. Here's the head, the top of, right here. Hold on, let me see. The pterodactyl. There's the pterodactyl on the body, looks like a snake. There's this eye, and there's this head right there. Guess what that pterodactyl is doing? Like you see mothers and mother birds feeding their babies, and the baby's going in the mother's mouth for food. There's another pterodactyl's head, a baby's pterodactyl's head, that's coming out and coming over right there. And it's coming over. This bird has its mouth open, outstretched neck going down to, and here's a picture of the bird. Here's my highlights of me drawing with that bird, with the baby pterodactyl bird. I colored it into the mouth of the other pterodactyl bird, where its head and its body is attached to this little boy's body. Everything that I'm showing you, this is the neck, here's the head, all of this is here. Here's the other bird's body going out this way. This bird body comes around, the wing wraps around and embellishes the boy's head, letting you know that there is a transformation. The genes of that pterodactyl is carried by that boy. And what we have today, this is what it has evolved to today. So these stories is where it discusses this as a reality. And so it can bring this cartoon like to a reality. Think for yourself. Where do birds come from? They come from dinosaurs. Dinosaurs such as the pterodactyl. Now, let me show you what this looks like. I'm going to show you something, what I have here. I found a picture of a pterodactyl online. In fact, I can bring it up. I don't know why. I don't know how long I can make this for. I hope this lasts a while. Let me go to, because I have other pictures. Let me take, I don't have to work with just that picture there. Where is my pterodactyl at? I have a pterodactyl. This part here, the mouth, the head, all of that right there. Those parts can be identified identically with what's right here going into this bird's mouth, going into the other bird's mouth. All of these parts right there are all identical to this right here. Now, I put them side by side so you can see. I detached the head, but I put the spine to that head that's going into the other bird's mouth back here. I put the pterodactyl, I cut and pasted it, and this is the head. I'm gonna put these on my I'm gonna post it to the video that I put in. I'm gonna put it in the comments. But this head right here is identical to this head right here that's going in the head of this creature right here, this other pterodactyl, the mother pterodactyl that's going down to that boy. Now, what does it look like? I draw that out for you too. Here's that pterodactyl again that I put feathers on it, if you will. That's going down in the head. I put feathers on it, so I colored it out. So you know that I colored in the other guy too. Oh, here's the pterodactyl image. This image here going into the bird's mouth with me overlaid it right there. That's what it looks like going into the mouth of that. All right. That spine, though, would not be turned down in that direction. I could not get it to go up. The spine is all laid across there. There's actually carvings and drawings right here. This, which should be up without the wingspan open, everything is closed up and laying on top of the rock. And it's going down. But the head almost fits perfectly with that. And all of the head parts of this fossil that I took off the line, which is right there, fits directly and precisely on the head of that carving, if it is a carving, or whatever it is, but it's identical to that as everything that I'm describing. Now, I'm going to give you the picture of the bird. Oh, gosh. Okay, so we got through that. Let me push this to the side. I got to get more here. Let me get my pointer here. So where is the boy? I got to get you the boy. Hold on. I got to get you. I got some interesting pictures here. I'm going to bring that up as well, too. Hold on. Let me bring some up here. I don't want to overshoot my... There's that picture that I told you with it overlaying. But again, the bird body doesn't come down here. It actually is up here where I made my colorings at right there. And the wings are closed. That spine will be shooting off straight back here. I even actually made my colorings and my fillings, my highlights, almost the same as what you would see as what a spine would actually be. But that's the way it is. What's unique about this is now that I'm pointing this out, a geologist, an anthropologist, or anyone can go at this and compare that, whatever I'm saying about this. A trained eye can look at this and see. In fact, you don't even have to have a trained eye. With my description of what I'm telling you, and you go there and look at it, anybody in their right mind knows what it looks like for a mother bird to be feeding their baby bird and what that looks like. And that's what that is, that open mouth creature. Now I got to go to, hold on, let me go to some other pictures here. I don't want to mess this up. So far, we're going steady. Here's what this looks like. There's the boy. There's the boy. There's the mouth. I made the mouth look a little evil, like I know, but, and why did I made my colorings in before I actually came up? I made the eyeball white in color, made the pupil green, and then I made the ureolas, whatever, green, and then made the pupil actually black. So why, when I found that movie with the stork, why the baby and the stork has the same color eyes as what I actually put in that right there? So I made my eye white, green, and black. So why in the movie of the baby, same eye color? Coincidence? No, because nothing is coincidence in this world today, and I found other evidence of that. Everything has a purpose and a reason. But here's what that looks like off the screen and a little closer up, right there. Look at that. Look at the head, how that bird's mouth, a pterodactyl, mouth is open, and the baby pterodactyl has its mouth into that mouth, and going down, genes going down, showing where prehistoric creatures gave life to these creatures, which is now, they were first Mercronites, then they became Venetians, and then they became Earthlings. And later we will be known as Martians, because that's where we're going now. And I have a video out on that. I can tell you why this is the case and why this is happening. I know it all. This is not by coincidence that I have all this information. This is something that I've been doing for 15 years after something supernatural happened to me. All right? So there's that. You take a long look at that. Because you can go and Google the image, the 1972 Apollo moon mission with geologist Harrison Smith taking samples off of a moon rock that nobody ever questioned on how that rock got there. No impact crater, no evidence of volcanic activity, and that rock is strategic. And in fact, if it did come from somewhere else, from an impact, it would crack, it would shatter. So where did that rock come from? And then here you have me coming forward and telling you that that rock was strategically placed there. It's either a flying vessel itself, it got there by its own propulsion, and there's propulsion devices on that rock that are covered over and are plastered away, as I recently described, and or because there's evidence of chains being on the rock, that rock was placed there, lowered into place where it's at. And why would it be lowered? Because it's a capstone that's covering an opening to an entranceway. And the rock serves as a monument, a memorial, as we do today. Look at Mount Rushmore and other places. Look at all these stone sculptings that we have around the world that we use in stone that have these on it. Look at the ancient churches, by God, that we have that have all of these Gothic-like things drawn on with birds and owls and all of these different things. And here I'm taking you to a place that goes far deeper than that. Not just that, I can take you step by step back. I didn't find this by accident. I found this by strategically being drawn to it because I know how we were created and where all this is going and where it's coming from. All right. Having said that, here's everything without the color. And you can see the open bird's mouth with the baby's mouth going in. inside. And you can see now, makes sense of everything that I said. All right, what do I have else up here that I can show you? I went through that. I don't want to make this too long to where I cannot get this. Oh, I got to show you the other carvings. Okay, that's what I got to show you. All right, that's what I got to show you. I got to show you some of the other. There's plaques on there with carvings. Of other heads. Now, and that's on top of the rock. Let me go back to the original right quick. Let me see if there's anything else I got to show you here. So far, we're going okay. We're going okay. Do I need to show you anything else here? All right. Look at this up close. Here. This is a plaque with a head on it. This is a plaque. And then this is no other than a bird creature with a body. And in its body, going long ways, are writings across here. Look how uniquely different this is. What I can see, I didn't try to do so much of it, but this actually looks like some type of ancient script going across here. And I've identified what appears to be a triceratops right there and a dinosaur, I believe, right in there. I have them drawn out a little bit, I guess. But this is what this, hold on. This is what this kind of looks like up closer right there. And I'm going to show you something else that's about this. But hold on, let me show you those plaques, those two head plaques right quick before we, here's one, and here's the one right here. And this is exactly what it looks like if you turn it to the left. Oh, here's the other one right here. Which one should I give you first? I'm going to give you this one first. Right over here, right there is this guy. So if you turn that rock on your, when you download this image and you turn that rock, I promise you, you rotate the picture, and I promise you, you will see this guy right here with an elongated chin, a mouth, a nose, and this on his head right there. I've seen this somewhere. I don't know what this is. Somebody would probably know what this probably is. I've seen that somewhere, but I guess it would be 3 forks and it comes over his nose. I've seen that somewhere, like a dagger, like a forked dagger. But I promise you, if you Google that image, if you Google it, Google this image and turn it and rotate it, this way you don't really see anything. I'm going to show you what it looks like turned. You can't really, okay. Look, here it is here, unedited right there. If you Google it, you'll be looking at it like that, so you can't see it because it's on top of the rock. However, now that I exposed it, if you turn it, look at how he's turning his eyes looking at you. Look at that. I'm going to bring it in closer. Look at that. And I have it conveniently highlighted for you. And that's what it looks like. Here's what I half-assed did some trying to do the drawings there. My hand is where I believe that this is the dinosaur. I believe that this is the triceratops. Tail going out, head going down. I believe that these are other writings. I believe all up in here are writings, scribblings and doodlings all through here. I believe that. I'm not going to try to figure out what it is. I don't think that nobody else can figure out what it is, because you know why? It is way before anyone's time. This is all brand new material, all brand new stuff. I don't even think that no one can even come close to scratching the surface. But this is the reason why they have these pictures there. Because the pictures is the universal language, or the intergalactic language, to describing what is going on. It is showing that how creatures, through creatures, became man, and how creatures alongside man created each other. So what I'm basically proposing is what I've always proposed. And if you take the BS of the religion and all of that out of it, the text of all of that, the ancient texts, religious texts, and all that out of the equation, and look at the truth of the matter, is that hundreds and millions of years ago, that there was these gigantic dinosaurs. This world was dinosaur, prehistoric, nothing but prehistoric creatures. I mean, and no better way to say it than that they pissed, shit, and ate here. It's a giant playpen. It's like your dog pen out back. Been there for hundreds of millions of years, and your dog disappears, and all of these other microorganisms and creatures turned into something, and they growed in that dog cage afterwards and became a living population of beings. Where did they come from? They came from that dog. But it just didn't happen that way. I'm stating that these creatures, these dinosaurs, these birds, and I have the evidence, I don't want to go into spilling my guts about everything, that they strategically knew how to target different DNAs, different creatures, and they mutated to each other until they became who we are today. We were once prehistoric creatures through their DNA. Now, for all of you jackasses on there that want to talk about, oh, this is baloney, this is bullshit, and Darwin theory, no, that's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. We have 180 different DNA strands in our body that scientists can't even describe where they came from, or so they act like they can't describe where they came from. You know where they came from? They came from all of the creatures that entered into their DNA, that was introduced into our DNA strategically to cause for our creation. That's where they came from. They don't want you to know where they came from. And even if scientists stumbled upon it, they got all of these roadblocks into place that where they will never allow for them to tell you what I'm telling you right now. Because you know why? Because then it's game over. They don't have you in a chokehold with believing their religious lies or the story of how you were created through Adam and Eve and all of the other bullshit. That's why you can't see this, because you got blinders on. All right? That's what the problem is. So now, let's keep going. What else do I have here? Oh, I got to show you. I didn't show you the other head. Oh, the other head is better than that one. Oh, I got to show you the other head. Hold on. Where is he at? I had him in my hand. There's another head. I set him down. Here he is right here. Okay. There's another head. Another headpiece. Carving. That's the one that I just showed you there. Here's another one right here. It's, again, you got to turn it upwards. It's sideways. That's why it looks like a hole. The face is there. I'm going to turn it up right for you. What you see, the way you see it is there. Like so. But this is the way you really have to see it. Like that. And that is really what is there. It's like a bust, like they have in the presidential office of the head of them black. But these creatures have their heads, just their heads, not their full bodies. Man of man. And I found out the secret to why. I'm the only one that can give you that answer on why they only have their heads. You want to know what the answer is? And they don't have no bodies? You know what the answer is, people? The answer is that because they have many bodies. All bodies are their bodies. That's why they're just their head there. They're stating that their heads is attached to all of those different bodies and creatures that are there. Then